Chapter 17. Helping Montague. Who are you? The water of dreamland. Mengtai seemed to feel much better when he was moved by the water. The new water rudder master of One Piece Hall. Meet the earth rudder master, Guhai said in a deep voice. Water rudder master. Mengtai's eyes steeply narrowed. Ha ha ha. You guys are really doing everything you can to trick me into telling the truth, Mengtai of the First Dream Realm said coldly. Guhai, however, solemnly said, I know you have scruples, however, what I said is the truth, whether you believe it or not. Mengtai, however, abruptly shrunk his pupils. Suddenly, he looked squarely at Guhai. You say, I believe. Mengtai suddenly changed the peak of his speech. Guhai was first slightly stunned, but instantly understood. Mengtai should still not believe in himself, but he was already at the end of his rope. Even how much he didn't believe in himself. There was no choice. The reality was that he had to believe in himself. Even if he knew that he was being lied to, he had to believe. Because only by believing, there was a chance to live. Once he didn't believe, everything was gone. Guhai nodded. I am the new water helmsman. I was just appointed not long ago, and I don't know much about the One Piece Hall. And I don't know much about you. And I don't know much about that helmsman ding either. It's only due to coincidence that I quietly followed them. I'm not a friend of theirs. I'm not an enemy of yours. You can look at me as having no cultivation. I'm unable to do anything overstepping the bounds of my power. What I can do to help you, you can mention it. I'll do my best. Mengtai stared at Guhai in the fire for a good unexpected moment, his eyelids fluttering furiously. What do you want? Mengtai stared at Guhai and said. I only have one request, Guhai said in a deep voice. Oh, Mengtai's eyes narrowed. I just read some of your memories and realized that you and Li Wei are master and brother. I need a way to unlock the bronze mask, Guhai solemnly said. Bronze mask? You were put on a bronze mask. Mengtai steeply raised his eyebrows and instantly guessed. Guhai frowned slightly. This Mengtai was so shrewd. After a moment of silence, he finally nodded. Mengtai stared at Guhai for a while. If what you say is true, you're really bold. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Can you tell me? Servant Master Meng, Guhai re-emphasized. Are you sure you don't need to know about the dragon vein? Mengtai once again stared at Guhai and said, I don't know any dragon vein, but I know that dragon vein means danger. I don't need to take the risk right now. I just need to know how to unlock the bronze mask. Guhai nodded affirmatively. Mengtai stared at Guhai all the way. Guhai once again threw a water balloon over. Barely. Mengtai instantly felt much better. Not bad. This bronze mask is something extraordinary. It is a torture device making method that I learnt inside the mask. There is a formation, however, now that it has come down for decades. There are some passes in the formation inside. It must have been changed by Li Wei, Mengtai said in a deep voice. Formation, alteration, Guhai said in a deep voice. The main formation naturally cannot be altered. The alteration is only the internal sub-body formation. Sub-body formation. Just like the lock is different internally and requires a different maneuver, Mengtai said in a deep voice. Combination lock. Guhai's face sank. You can understand it like this, Mengtai said in a deep voice. Then what's the way to remove it? Guhai asked again. There are 3 ways. Oh. The first way, find a supremely strong person to help you remove it. The cultivation must exceed the Yuaning realm, Mengtai said in a deep voice. A cultivator that exceeds the Yuaning realm. Guhai's face was in a state of disbelief. It was obvious that it was impossible to find one for a while. The second way, wait for 50 years, when the energy within the formation is exhausted, Mengtai explained. 50 years. Guhai shook his head. The last way, find the password from Li Wei. If you let me out, I can help you find it, Mengtai said in a deep voice. Helmsman Meng, you don't need to test me. I said. I'm not all the way with them. If I can help you, I will do my best. I have no cultivation at this moment. How do you think I can help you? Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Don't need to do much. Don't you have a water helm master token? That Dreamland water just now. You prepare 10 more tanks for me. 5 elements token. Water restrains fire. Your Dreamland water can just restrain that bitch Dingrui's Dreamland fire, Meng Tai said in a deep voice. This is easy. Gu Hai nodded. Wallaha. Steeply, with a wave of his hand, large swathes of Dream Realm water appeared in all directions. Who are you? Meng Tai sucked violently, and the rolling Dream Realm water immediately entered his mouth, as if his abdomen was a bottomless pit, and the rolling water source couldn't even fill it. It took a while before it stopped. Is that enough? Gu Hai asked. Thanks, Water Helm Master. It's enough. I have Dream Realm water inside my body and Dream Realm fire outside my body. Water can restrain fire. At least I won't be squeezed clean of energy by the fire hell. At least I won't turn into an idiot, Meng Tai solemnly said. That's good. Is there anything else you need? Gu Hai asked. Spirit stones. Are there spirit stones? Yes, Gu Hai nodded. Before you go out, you carefully bury them under the vines in the cave. I can get them. As many as you have. Take as many as you want, Meng Tai solemnly said. Good. Gu Hai nodded. Many thanks. Meng Tai looked at Gu Hai, and a wave of gratitude flashed in his eyes. That bronze mask, Gu Hai frowned. If I go out, I'll help you fight Li Wei, Meng Tai said in a deep voice. How? Gu Hai asked. Does Li Wei have anyone he cares about? Did he marry again over the years? Or have any children? Meng Tai said in a deep voice. Gu Hai shook his head and said, I don't think so, but I just saw Yu Yao in your second dream realm. Yu Yao is still alive. What? Impossible. Meng Tai stared. Gu Hai shook his head and said, It's true. I'm not so bad that I can't even remember the appearance of a woman. It's called Yu Yao, and I have seen it before. However, that Yu Yao seems to be very mute, demented, as if she's a doll, and she's at Li Wei's mercy. I have already beheaded Yu Yao's head and buried it in the first place, still alive, unless, Meng Tai said with an ugly face. Unless what? Yu Yao's heavenly soul and earthly soul have been lost. Only a human soul remains. 1 soul and 7 spirits. This is the zombie technique. Li Wei refined Yu Yao's corpse into a zombie, having lost her souls. From now on it's a walking corpse, who doesn't give Yu Yao rest in peace. Meng Tai frowned. I'm not sure. Gu Hai shook his head truthfully. Then have you seen the wind chimes? Do you know wind chimes? Meng Tai looked at Gu Hai expectantly. I saw it just now in your second dream realm. I came to the Dafengang for a short period of time. I haven't heard of wind chimes. Gu Hai shook his head. Back then, Li Wei was the one who threatened me with the wind chimes to get me trapped here. He knew that the wind chimes were my lifeblood and would have threatened me with them. So the wind chimes must still be imprisoned somewhere at the Great Abundance Gang. It must be somewhere, Meng Tai said in a deep voice. Gu Hai shook his head. And I don't know. Meng Tai's eyes changed for a while. I want to save Wimbel. Don't worry. I'll definitely help you unlock the bronze mask. It's in the Colosseum. You help me with one thing. We'll be done once and for all. Meng Tai looked towards Gu Hai. Go ahead, Meng Tai explained to Gu Hai. Right. Can you finally tell me the principle of the bronze mask? Gu Hai asked. Okay. Gu Hai didn't dare to stay in Meng Tai's first dream realm for too long, and with a shake of his body, he once again entered the second dream realm. In the second dream realm, the picture changed once again. In a flash, a huge floating island appeared, with mountains and rivers below and countless pavilions. Meng Tai stood respectfully behind a woman with wind bell. Hall Master, this is it. The dragon vein is below, Meng Tai said excitedly. Finally found it. Meng Tai, you've done a good job. Follow me back to fetch the dragon attracting jade, and we'll Take out the dragon vein. The woman was also extremely happy in general at this moment. Yes. The three of them quickly flew away from the floating giant island. On the side, Ding Rui's face changed. Ding Long Sect. Ding Long Sect's floating giant island. Can't be wrong, Servant Master Ding. It's the floating island there. The Ding Long Sect, one of the 5 great sects of my 5 islands. Isn't it a sect ruled by one of your distant relatives? Sovereign Song Jia's face changed. Finally, ha ha ha. A light of excitement glowed in Ding Rui's eyes. The image changed again. Instead, Meng Tai received a letter from Li Wei, as well as a piece of wine chime's clothing, and then, Li Wei used a disappeared wine chime to threaten Meng Tai. And with the assistance of Patriarch Songa and Ding Rui, he restrained Meng Tai. After all, Meng Tai was restrained because of the wind chimes. And then, in the picture, he was brought to this cave and imprisoned. The next image was of inhumane torture, rumble. The second dream space shuddered, boom. With a loud bang, the second dream realm exploded open. A group of people instantly appeared in Meng Tai's first dream realm. In the first dream realm, Meng Tai was currently collapsed in the middle of a sea of fire, his entire body scorched black and seemingly dead. Want you to not say anything, HMPH. Ding Rui let out a cold snort and probed her hand. Boom. The heavy dreamscape dispersed with a bang, and everyone's consciousness returned to their bodies once again, returning to the previous cave. At this moment, Meng Tai's entire body had drooped, his face pale, seemingly voiceless. Meng Tai, are you dead? HMPH. Don't you die. I haven't tortured you enough. Li Wei walked up and violently threw a slap. Splat. Meng Tai's body trembled and continued to droop. There's still a breath. Not dead, however. It seems to be wasted. Sovereign Song Jia sneered. It's good to be wasted. It doesn't matter if you become an idiot. We already know what place. Ha ha ha. Let's go. Ding Rui laughed out loud. HMPH. Li Wei let out a cold snort at Meng Tai. The group of people slowly walked towards the cave entrance. Gu Hai was still walking at the end, and when he saw a cane notch, Gu Hai very carefully probed his hand and waved it. Wow! Most of the spirit stones within the small space of the token were all thrown into the cane notch at once. The group of people walked out of the cave. Boom! The dragon-breaking stone sealed the cave entrance once again. Watch it for me. Li Wei droned at the surrounding guards. Yes, the crowd of guards answered. Ding Rui walked very eagerly, her heart surging. She had finally found it. And at the moment, she didn't want to stay in the Dafengang at all. The group of people quickly walked towards the distant palace. As they walked, Gu Hai's figure slowly disappeared into the group. At this moment, in the cave where the crowd of guards were watching, Meng Tai, who originally still had a breath left in his body, abruptly opened his eyes and his complexion perked up. Looking towards the spirit stone left behind by the ancient sea in the distance inside the cave, Meng Tai opened his mouth and sucked it in. Snap!